Hey. Welcome. I am super excited. I feel like I'm loud. I am really pumped. Today, I'm going to show everyone pretty much my blueprint to podcast. And so if you have an idea about starting a podcast, or you could even use this for starting a YouTube, whatever platform where you're going to use your voice, you're going to use your idea, you have some thoughts, this is going to help you start, right? So many times I see people, I have friends, literally, like, check this out. I've had friends that have been talking about starting a podcast for 7 freaking years. I actually was just talking to one the other day. 3 years she's been thinking about starting a podcast. Can you imagine the impact that person could have had at this point when it comes to starting the show? Like, the impact could have been wildly successful. But what happens is, if we don't start, we think about, oh man, I have to get this equipment, or I need to get this editing, or I need to do this for production. You need to do all the things. But what happens is you do none of them, because when you pump the thing up and it's like so big, it takes away from the intent, and your intent goes to all the things that's not going to help you become successful. And so that is my goal today. My goal today is to show you exactly how to turn your voice into impact. And that is using my Easy Podcast Blueprint. This is a framework that I've used to help folks go from day 1 all the way to day 60. And this is the actual architecture for building the platform that you own. And the folks that listen and they do this exactly, they build this exactly how it's built, right? This framework, they are the ones that are successful when building their show. I've had folks that the first week when they start their podcast, they send me a screenshot. I should have put them up here, but they send me a screenshot and they say, "Hey, Tony, you would never freaking believe that I just got this message saying that my podcast is already being seen and downloaded from folks all across the world. Apple just sent me freaking a notification saying that I'm on the new and most noteworthy list," right? So that does not happen if you don't have a structure to your platform, and not just a structure to the platform, but the right structure, right? And I'll be honest, I don't think that it is anyone's fault when they start talking about all the technical stuff when it comes to gear. We have a culture, especially in this creative space of using your voice and turning it into a podcast. We have a culture of the most expensive gear that you can get. That's what's going to make you a podcast. You go and you get the best background. That's what's going to make you have the best podcast. That is wrong. It is wrong. That's not what's going to make you have the best podcast that you can possibly have. What that is going to do is that is going to fatten the pockets and the wallets of other people. I want to get that out of the way. I don't want you to think that you need, oh man, I get so distracted. I would say hi to my folks. Hey, Josette, good to see you. If you have any questions, make sure that you drop them below. And for the folks that are tuning into this, maybe you have something, you signed up for this, but you got something to do. That is all good. If you want to book a call with me, you could go ahead and scan that QR code to get the one-on-one help from me. And I'll explain that a little bit later once I'm done. But also, everybody that joins this today, that's here with me, you put somewhere in the comment section, "Hey, Tony, I'm here. I'm watching this. Let me know that you're in the building so that I'm not talking to myself for this time, because you're going to get some really good value. But I want to make sure that I'm not talking to myself. I'm not going crazy." So I'm going to give you a free gift for everybody that is here. And this is a gift that most coaches, especially when it comes to podcasting, they're charging people hundreds, if not thousands, for the things that I'm going to send you, right? So I'm not going to tell you what the gift is. I'm proud of myself because my mom likes to tell me that I can't hold water. I spilled the beans early, but I'm not going to spill the beans with this. But so this will take you from day one all the way to day 60. And you don't even have to do 60 days with this blueprint that I'm giving you. Some folks, they can do it in 2 weeks, but I like to say 60 days. And maybe that's being a little generous. Maybe that's taken away, but you do this. You should be able to do this in under 60 days. So let me know in the comments if you are ready for me to start. You got a pen, you got a paper, you got your phone. Maybe you're taking some screenshots, right? You're taking some screenshots because it's going to be some good stuff. I promise you, I will not continue to do these lessons when it comes to podcasting. I'm moving on to something else. I definitely love the idea of the platform of podcasting. I would not be where I am at today if it was not for my podcasting. But I'm doing something else, and I'll get to that a little bit later. We got some folks. I'm going to give everybody recognition. Tony Tate, I invited all 1 million of my friends here tonight. I appreciate you, brother. You're always inviting folks. Let's see. Keith Dunner, look who showed up. Yeah, I got all of my friends in the building. Hello from Vancouver. For everybody that just came in, if you click that, I got some stuff. Man, my ADHD is freaking killing me. I want to know what's going on in the comment section. So if you click this link, not the link, but the QR code in the corner, that's how you can work with me one-on-one if you have to take off. We are going to get started. So let's go ahead. Let me zoom in. I don't got my glasses with me. So this is the architecture of impact when it comes to podcasting. It doesn't matter if you have a podcast that you've been working on for the last freaking 17, 20 years or whatever, or you just started your podcast. You will be on one or a few or all of these steps, right? These steps are not linear. You don't go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and that's like where you're at. It's not the 12-step program. You are going to be revolving through these steps. So, and there's different phases. You have the first phase, that's the foundation. That's like where you're setting the strategy. This is where a lot of people get this podcasting thing wrong. They skip this stuff and they go straight to what kind of microphone do I need? So if you're listening to me and that's your question, what kind of microphone do I need? I'm gonna tell you right now, you need to start with the foundation. You need to start with the strategy, right? And what that looks like is your purpose alignment. And that's you trying to decipher what it is that you really want to talk about. Not what's popular, but what you want to talk about. Step 2, that would be structure building. That's you deciding, okay, yeah, I want to have a podcast. Now do I know what I'm going to talk about? What type of infrastructure do I need set around it? Right? I think I know what's going on, but what else do I need to build to make this thing work? Right? And then we go to phase 2. That is the actual infrastructure. That is where you are determining what medium you're going to use. So audio, are you going to do just audio podcast? Or are you going to do audio or video? Are you going to do video podcast? Or are you going to have a hybrid of it? Right. And I'll tell you right here before we start, because I'm going to go into these separately, but I'll tell you, if you're just starting with a podcast, I always tell folks to start with audio first, because you're not having to waste so much time trying to be the master of everything when you don't have anything figured out. Right. So step 4 in phase 2, that's when we start talking about the equipment. Notice it's not the first thing that you're talking about, right? Because how can you decide what equipment you need if you don't have all of this other stuff figured out, right? I'm moving my mouse like y'all like y'all can see it. I got my finger on the I have my finger on step 4 here, but then we go to step 5, podcast hosting. That's where we're actually going to host the podcast, where the podcast sits when it comes to distribution, like podcast.co. What's the other one? Spotify. How could I forget that one? That's the one that I use, Spotify. And what that pretty much does is you take your podcast and then it'll blast it out to the major podcast streaming networks. And we'll get more in detail with this as we go along. Let me know in the comments if you're still here. I still got you. You're working on phase 2. This sounds really good to you. You want to know about phase 3 and phase 4. Let me make sure that I haven't lost anybody. And again, any questions that you have for me, just wait until we're done. And I will get to those questions in the QRA. All right. Q&A. What is QRA? I'm just so excited. Phase 3, that is the build out phase. That is where we're talking about production. That is where we are creating a recording plan. If you work with me, this is very important. That my clients that I've had throughout the years, the recording plan is one of the most important. This is where you are figuring out what days you're going to record. This is when you have all the equipment and the equipment that you know, and you've already purchased the equipment and you're just creating a plan, right? The next step in phase 3 is recording trials. You are actually recording. You're actually recording. You're doing some rehearsals. You're having everything set up. If you have a podcast where it's video, you're doing it at the same time of day that you would do the regular recording. Because if you've recorded with video at all, you know that the sun is a big part of when it comes to recording. So you're setting up the exact environment that you would have when it comes to recording day. And then phase 4, this is what a lot of people, now on phase 1, a lot of questions that I get as somebody that's had a podcast for years and have had millions of downloads, folks go to, hey, how do I market my podcast, or how do I make money off my podcast? And I'm always like, make money off your podcast? You don't even know what the damn podcast is about. What do you mean? How do you make money on your podcast? You need to go down to phase 1 and start working on the purpose alignment. You need to work on the structure, right? Phase 4 is you got all of this stuff. You got all of this stuff connected, right? And I'm not saying that you can't be thinking about monetization. You cannot be thinking about the marketing plan. But if you start working on this stuff before you have went through phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, you're going to fail. And that's why, you might be hearing a lot of chatter where folks are saying, oh, podcasting is dead. It's a dead sport. Nobody's using it no more. It's so saturated. It is not saturated. What is the saturation that you see is, there's millions of podcasters, but there aren't millions and millions of active podcasters. Folks like us, the people on LinkedIn, people on YouTube that we're searching for information. There's other people like us that are searching for the same information that we have. So podcasting is very much so alive. I would not be doing this if it was not. I am not a podcast one of those people that's going to go down with the ship, as they say. Once podcasting is dead, you'll probably see a post that'll say, podcasting is dead. It ain't working no more. We're not making money from it no more. And I'll admit that. So mark my word when I tell you, a podcast, your own platform, is one of the biggest things that you can do right now when it comes to content creation, when it comes to owning your own platform. All right. So purpose alignment, right? This is step 1. This is this is like when you're figuring out what type of content that you're going to have. You can't just throw shit out there and say, okay, I'm just going to do day in the life videos. Like, that gets old pretty quick, right? That gets old pretty quick. What also gets old really quick is, I don't know if y'all seen those videos where they show somebody else's content, and then on the other side, it's usually like an entrepreneur, somebody that wants to get into to make content, where they just have it and you'll just see whatever video they have on the side. You'll just see that person not really saying nothing. They're just kind of shaking their hand, or maybe they're pointing their finger at it. But that's not content. That's not a strategy. That's not you fulfilling your purpose. That's you watching somebody else fulfill their purpose. You watching somebody else walk towards their mission in life, right? So Ikigai, this come from the Japanese, and what it means is your reason for being. I love this because it has some really critical pillars in here that if I would have been taught just these things in this first page, not only when it comes to content, but just in life, period, I would have had it figured out. Just like I'm sure, the folks that's watching this, everybody has a purpose. Not everybody knows and understands what their purpose is, right? So follow this. This will be a short, quick little guide. I actually do a whole workshop on this. We don't have enough time to do that whole workshop, but just to give you a bird's eye view of it, right? Mission. That is what the world needs. That's at the very top of this compass, what the world needs. That is you solving problems. That is you creating positive change. A lot of folks, they're so linked up to what they feel like the world needs instead of doing research and understanding what the world needs. If you go and you look at a lot of my posts where I'm doing polls, where I'm asking questions, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook, I'm asking a lot of questions. What's keeping you up at night? What problems can we solve? That is the question that I'm asking. And not just my problems, but the problem of the people that I serve when it comes to me creating content, or if it comes to me maybe lobbying for certain policies as a delegate right now, right? I want to know, what problems can I solve? What does the world need, right? So, and then let's go to the next one. We're going to go counterclockwise, right? We're going to look at passion. What do you love? What is something that you love? Like, you wake up in the morning, you're just like, and it can even be for the moment. I've seen podcasts where it is solely based on what that person thinks that they're interested in, or that curiosity. Or it could be something that you love, something that you've been learning this whole time, and you're just excited to teach it to other people. For me, I was really passionate initially when I first came up with my podcast, Leaders Lead the Podcast. You can check it out, leadersleadthepodcast.com. That is a commercial. Write that down. Go and check out the podcast. I got some really cool guests on it. But if you look at from episode 1 all the way to episode, I want to say maybe 130, that is me trying to figure out how to be an entrepreneur, how to run a successful business, right? If you look at the last several years, you'll see there's a couple of times where I even misspelled the word entrepreneur. I was not a good entrepreneur. So what I did was I created a podcast to teach and to show me how to become the entrepreneur that I needed to be in order to build my podcast, right? And that, in a sense, is the framework of everything that we're learning here today. You see what I'm saying? It's like the podcast actually taught me that instead of me teaching folks what I already know. And that became a passion, and then it developed into something else. Right now, I'm really passionate about mental health. My family went through something that, sometimes you go through something where it actually changes you for your whole life. And that's what happened to me. And if you listen to the podcast, that's what it's about. It's more about resilience now than anything, right? So what's that one topic that excites you, that one topic that you love, right? And then you go down to skill. What are you good at? What are your unique abilities? What are some experiences that you have that you can share? Those are really good segments. I love the podcasts. There's some podcasts that I never thought that I would listen to. Podcasts about gardening. I never thought that I would like a podcast about gardening until I became a gardener. But guess who has those podcasts? Well, no, novice gardener. Don't get me lying. I'm a novice gardener. But I listen to the podcasts of the folks that are master gardeners. They have that skill. They have that unique ability. They have the experience. They can tell me, hey, Tony, you're watering too much. You're flooding the seeds. You're doing this. You're doing that, right? They have that skill. And then if you look at the last one, when it comes to the Ikigai, the reason for being, I want you to look at what you can be paid for. This is very, 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 very important. I'm not one of those prosperity podcasters where I'm telling you, hey, you have a podcast so you can make money, you can become a success overnight. And it's just the most beautiful thing. Like your ass is going to work to make that money in podcasting, but it might as well be something that you have a mission about. It might as well be something that you're passionate about. It might as well be something that you have a skill in. So do you think right now, what can you be paid for in this very, very moment, right? When I first started my podcast, I was like, I used this same formula that I'm giving y'all. What can I be paid for? Man, I've been in the Marine Corps. I work for the Department of Defense Fire Department. I've been motivational speaking. My topic has been leadership because all of those things kind of connect. You know, I've either been influenced by a leader or I've had people influence me because of my leadership. Boom. Leaders lead the podcast, right? That's where that came from. And it was based off of what I figured my industry value was at that time. So be thinking about your mission. Be thinking about what you're passionate about. Be thinking about the skills that you have or the skills that you want to acquire. Be thinking about something that you could be paid for, and take a screenshot of this so that you could come back and actually workshop this. And I'll tell y'all right now, the gift that I'm going to give everybody, because I know I'm covering a lot of information here. And the gift that I'm going to give everybody is I'm going to give you a copy of this. And I'm also going to give you my notes. My notes are going to have references to places that will give you a lot of these same blueprints that I give the clients that I work with one-on-one, right? So that'll be a gift. If you've been here and you've rocked with me this whole time and you're still here and you're going to be here with me in the end, that's what I'll give you. That's what I'll give you, right? So let's go to the next one. Who's still here with me? I'm gonna look at the comments really quick. Thank you, sir. You're hilarious. Tony Taylor, savor the flavor of the awesomeness and sharing your beautifully well articulated, eloquently stated, heartfelt thoughts with us tonight. I appreciate that. No, y'all are making me smile. Don't make me cry today. Sharing your experience to help others is great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, you're ENT, it says. Man, I want to talk to you. I got some questions there. All right, let me get back. All right. I just want to make sure I acknowledge everybody that's here with us. And also, again, if you have to go, screenshot or click, there should be a link in the comment section to where this flow code is at if you want to work with me one-on-one and come up with your plan. That's me just taking you through all of this stuff and us figuring out. I have a really cool one-on-one workshop that I've used for many years, not just for myself, but many of the top podcasts that some of y'all are probably seeing here on LinkedIn or on YouTube or Apple, Spotify. It works. It works. And it's a proven system. It really works. It's one of the things that I've built where I can honestly say that I'm proud of. I'm really proud of the way that I've, because I have ADHD. Throughout the years, I've gone and done certain things that I was like really curious about, really inspired about. But this podcasting space has been really a game changer for me. And I'm proud that I took the time to like learn it the way that I learned it. And I'm even more inspired to show other people how to do the same thing. So yeah, if you want to work with me one-on-one, go ahead and hit that QR code in the corner, screenshot it. click on it, and it's also in the comment section. So we're going to go to step 2. And if you remember, step 2 is this part down here at the bottom, phase 1. We're still basement floor, still working on our foundation, right? So let's look at this. Structure building. This is the blueprint of the talent format. The first thing is the solo podcast. That's just like me, how I'm talking to you right now. It's a direct monologue, expert commentary. Yeah, I'm an expert. You like that? No. High authority. That's what you're going to get when you do it. There's been multiple studies. The person that steps on the stage, they are considered to be the authority of the room. I know a lot of times folks that have a fear of public speaking or just a fear of being seen, they don't realize this, but the minute you put that microphone in your hand, you put that camera on your face, you are seen as a high authority. And there's nobody that is saying, oh my God, I just wish that person can fail. That's what a lot of us think, that, oh, they want me to. No, chances are they're listening to you so that they can learn something from you, right? And so with the solo part, the benefit of it is low logistical friction. I'll tell you right now, one of the things that I don't do myself is the logistics of bringing guests on my show, because it's tedious and there's a lot of friction. You got to get the dates lined up. There's a lot of things that you have to do. And there's a way that you can overcome that. And I'll hit that once we get to the next thing. But if you want something that's low friction and you just want to sit down and hit record, solo is the one that you want to do, the one that you're doing it by yourself. And yeah, there's some benefits and there's some drawbacks to it. The benefit of the interview style is you're doing it one-on-one with somebody. You're asking them questions. You're not just you're not just taking and absorbing the heat yourself. You got somebody else that's doing it with you. So if you're the host, you're asking questions and they're the ones that are kind of like on the ropes answering the questions. It's not just you, you're throwing the punches, right? And that could be really, really fun. I did an interview this morning with someone who is running for office here. I think they're running for to be one of our legislators here in Washington. And man, I miss the one-on-one interviews because I'm very curious as a person. So I want to know like all these things. And I love it because that's why we're there. We're in that room so that we can answer those questions. And how easy is it for you to have a list of questions that you've already thought about ahead of time and that you're going to ask that person, or you're asking them the question straight from your heart. Like, what do I need? But you always got to have some sort of structure to that. You can have panel style interviews. I have clients who prefer to have I can't talk. Panel style interviews. Let me. All right. I got to get my confidence back up. Panel style interviews where you have like a box or square of different people on virtual, or you have all these different people on stage. But when it comes to having a podcast and it's like a virtual podcast, kind of like in this setting, it's a logistical nightmare trying to get all those people together. If you're not doing it live, it's a logistical nightmare in trying to edit that stuff. So, I mean, it's high networking. You have all of those people, you're bringing in all of those people that are going to communicate with you, and they're going to bring their people in, right? So that's more touch points that you have for your podcast. So that's a good benefit for the interviews, and also the panel style. Right. And then you have the third pillar when it comes to the talent format, that is co-hosted, shared hosting duties. That's you kind of going, you asking questions and answering questions, bringing up thoughts, breaking down thoughts, and you're sharing that responsibility with somebody else. And typically you'll get some high dynamic style energy, especially if that person thinks one way and you think another way, and you're kind of like debating It reminds me of the sports shows. Like you got Stephen A. Smith, and it's kind of like a gauntlet where they're going in there and they're arguing back and forth on certain points. I really love that format, but it's not for me because maybe I'm having an off day. I'm having an off day and I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to live like that, where I'm just debating all the time. But the other way to do it is if there's shared ground there. You and that person, you have almost the same frame of reference, almost the same thoughts, and you're breaking down the points together. Those are really good. And a lot of times what you could do is a shared responsibility too, instead of just shared hosting duties. Maybe you're really good at seeking out talent. Maybe that person's really good at putting together this structure, and they can follow the blueprint to keep you in line. So it works out good. Where it doesn't work out is if you do have those opposing morals, opposing principles. When I first started the show, somebody reached out to me and they're like, man, it would be really cool if we could do this together. They had a huge following. And I'm like, man, this will be really cool. More people will know about Leaders Lead the Podcast. So this will be good. So when you do that, you not only adapt the good, but you have to adapt to the not so good. People have lives, and a lot of times their lives are messy. And I had to make a decision. I went away from the person that I had started co-hosting the show with because it wasn't something that, they were doing something in his personal life that I did not agree with, right? I didn't agree with. So this show, and this is a part of Brandon, this show is going to be your baby, and everything that you do in your personal life is affected by this. And this is absolutely affected by everything that you do in your personal life. It goes back and forth. There's no such thing as, oh man, that's just business. There's no such thing. A lot of people, when I talk to them, and even with, people that I love that are in my life, they bring up, man, I heard you say such and such thing on your podcast the other day, and it was amazing. That really changed my life. Right. So there's some intersection in there, and I will be 100% with you when it comes to this. I'm giving y'all a really good breakdown, with this. I just had a thought. The people that you interview, it's the same thing. I have had to scrape interviews because I did not do my due diligence in the very beginning. I had people come on the podcast where I didn't believe in the things that they were saying. I didn't believe in the people that they were supporting when it came to politics. And I'm just like, you know what? This is my show. I don't rock with that. And I don't want that on my show. But then things start change and you have to get rid of certain episodes. I have a few that, I not so proud of. So I had to get rid of them. So keep that in mind. Right. And there's a way that you could platform opposing views without it becoming, connected to the views that you have. Right. So let's go to the fourth one. And that is narrative. That is scripted storytelling. Usually it comes with sound design, high production value, and in-test editing. Those are those ones where it's telling you a story. You got some amazing B-roll. I really love this content, but I have never made this kind of content. I've made short form videos, but when it comes to long form content, man, myself, I won't even venture to go that route because it takes a lot of time, right? It takes a lot of time. And usually just starting off, I don't know if the value as far as reward is I don't think it would be beneficial for somebody that's new and making content, right? So the bottom part, consistency over length, choose a frequency. This is a good one. You have some folks, they'll have a daily podcast. That's them doing it daily. If you got a daily podcast, I highly advise you to have the editing stuff not be a big deal, meaning that it's okay for it to not to be edited down the way that you would expect it to be, like perfection, right? You're just going, right? There's a lot of successful podcasts out there that don't have, that's not edited insanely well. But that's daily. You got weekly. That's the one that I suggest, a newer podcaster, weekly episodes. You got bi-weekly. That's typically where mine is at right now. Every 14 days, I noticed that that's the sweet spot with my show. And then you have monthly. Then after that, you can do quarterly and semi-annually. If you're a solo creator or you're working with a friend or a partner, you don't have a big organization, you need to stay away from monthly. If you're trying to grow, stay away from quarterly if you're trying to grow, because the algorithm is going to look like it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. Me personally, with me doing my show, every week or bi-weekly, I'm covering so much ground in a short amount of time. And starting a new podcast, me and you start it, and you're going to do it quarterly, and I'm going to do it daily or weekly or even bi-weekly. I'm going to bypass you because it's just not going to work. So keep that in mind. Let's go to the comments. Who do we got? Hello, Yolanda. Good to see you. Savor the flavor. Oh man, don't we love Kenneth Donner, man? I really appreciate Kenneth Donner. He brings some really cool people to the show. I appreciate all of your work, brother. LinkedIn user, hi. I wonder who this is. Thank you, sir. I got some really cool people. All right. I can go back to my slides. All right. The anatomy of an episode. This is step 2. And we'll go through this. Pretty fast, right? The opening sequence, that's usually the first 0 to 5% of the show. That's where your hook. That's where your hook. You're giving the episode preview. That's your podcast intro or your sponsorship message. Usually the hook is, you don't waste a whole bunch of time trying to, read off a guest bio. Usually if you do that and I'm listening to your show, I'm going to turn that shit off because I don't care about their resume. I don't care about that. LinkedIn don't even care about that no more. A lot of folks, they have their resume and their bio and all of that stuff. Like nobody wants to read that. I'm telling you, it's the most boringest freaking content that I've ever seen in my life. So you want to hook them in. Hey, when we first started this, I told you that I am going to show you how to build a podcast in less than 60 days, the easy way. I also told you that I'm going to show you how you, as a new podcaster, can get on the best of list, how you can automatically, you start off, you automatically in the middle of the mountain instead of at the top of the mountain. That kind of stuff helps when it comes to not just me doing this webinar with you today, but it helps with all content, right? Guest introduction, you want to keep that short. I just let folks know if I'm doing a podcast and I'm talking to somebody and they're going to educate me on, let's say if it's fighting Lyme disease or something like that, I'm going to say that this is the leading expert in XYZ, and they're going to show us exactly how to get to from A to Z, just like that. Boom. And then you go into the third phase of this. This is probably, there's, in it 10 to 85% of your content. This is the core engine of the content. This is the stuff that everybody, this is what they come to get is this piece. So it's structured and you have some really good transitions and it should be able to help a person, right? This is where you're asking the questions, or this is where you have your one person monologue. And then you have the outro. That is the episode summary. That's you thanking the guest. That's you giving a good call to action. If you're a new podcaster, write this down. If you're a new podcaster, your call to action, even if you have a guest, it should not be, hey, download my guest book, or, go and get coaching from my guest, or go and get coaching from me. Your call to action should be subscribe to the show, listen to the show, and leave a comment. Those 3 things when you first start off, because those will be the things that will catapult your podcast into another stratosphere. I see so many podcasts, they've been going for years and years and years, and they only have 5, 11, or some zero people that have left any kind of feedback. Don't do that. Do not do that. Push for that. And this is where you do it. You do it in your outro. You do it in the content that you create, right? People, we want to be led. We're not just going to just do shit for the sake of doing shit. We want to know what kind of shit you want us to do. And the shit that you want us to do, in this case, brand new podcasters, you want people to subscribe to the show. You want people to listen to the show, and you want people to give a review. Those 3 things. All right, I'm going to take a drink really quick. All right, put your questions in the comment section, and I will make sure that we get them. So step 3, this is the medium determination. And when we're talking about medium in this context, we're going to go audio. That is where it's on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, all the platforms, to where you could just hear, where you're just listening to it. And then you can go video. Typically, it's YouTube. Now Spotify has a video only, or video and audio component, but you could just upload videos to that, right? And then you have the hybrid to where that's both. That's audio and video. Most podcasts, that's where they're at, or they're trying to go to, is the video and audio. When it comes to, let's look at the bridges. Let's start from audio. We're going to start from audio, and then we're going to go to hybrid, and we're going to just take the bridges across, right? Audio, simplicity is easy. Like I said, you could pick up your phone and just use audio. There's different jacks that you can get if you want to have, a simple microphone for that, but you don't really need it. My highest, and still to this day, my highest download episode came from me just driving in my car and having a horrible day and just talking into my phone, just talking into this thing. Video only, simplicity is low, because, you got video, you got to look good on camera. You have to make sure your background is good. You got to do all the things, and you still got to have audio, right? So it's really not a difference with that. The hybrid, that's both of them. Simplicity is low. Engagement, medium engagement. There's I've noticed there's a specific group that listens to audio only podcasts. Video only engagement is going to be high, because if people are interested in your content, they are going to listen to it on YouTube, or watch it on YouTube, or watch it on LinkedIn, or watch it wherever they're at, whether it's audio or video. You give them that opportunity. Hybrid, maximum engagement if you have audio and video. A production cost for audio is low. Like I said, you could use your phone. You could use a microphone that don't cost that much. And we're going to get to the microphones here in a second. I do have some recommendations for microphones. But video only, production cost is high, because you got to have a camera that looks pretty good. And, if you're like me, I am a snob when it comes to this stuff. I cannot not look at the camera to see if there's any imperfections that are going on the camera, to make sure that my lighting is good, to make sure that that we're getting a good angle, right? Because that's just where my brain goes, right? But the production cost can be high for that, because if you have big standards in how that's supposed to look and how they're supposed to sound, it's going to be high. And hybrids is the same as high. Monetization standard. If people are just listening to your voice, it's going to take a special group that's just voice only, a special different type of company. But I know if you drink like Gatorade or something like that, they want you to be on video, right? So the monetization is going to be premium. They're going to give you premium dollar for video and hybrid. The monetization is very, like I said, you're living in the best of both worlds. But the pros of it with audio only is accessible. It's on the go. A lot of times when I'm cutting the grass or doing something outside, I'm listening to a podcast. You could focus on your storytelling. You don't have to worry about the visual effects. That's you practicing. The cons of it is you're going to miss the visual monetization. Just like here, right? You see that the link that I have in the corner here, that is so that you can get on my calendar so that I can work with you one-on-one, right? And there's a price for that. So that is monetized. I would not be able to do it like that. I would not be able to monetize this production or in that manner if it was just audio. But video, I can do it. So that's premium. I can also tell you, just as it was in a podcast, if you go down and you look at the link, I can audibly tell you, go and look at the link in the comment section of this, and you can sign up for that, right? Hybrid, you got both. It's versatile. You could do it. You could do it a couple of different ways. All right. So let's go to the next thing. Equipment determination. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is the way that it looks. This is the ecosystem. This is you talking through a microphone, or it could be your phone. It's captured. And then you could have the interface. It depends on what type of show you have. If it's more than one of you that's sitting side by side, you're going to need something like this Focusrite that you see here. If it's just if it's just you, and you don't need to do a whole bunch of different tuning or refining, you can go straight to this next phase where it says processing. That is your DAW. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. I think I got that right. But that'll be like your Audacity, your Adobe Audition, your GarageBand, your Descript. Those are that is your digital audio workstation or video workstation too, because you could drop video stuff in that, in most of those as well. Not GarageBand or Audacity, but if you're using something like Descript and some of the other ones, you can use it for that. It just all depends on what you have. And then the last thing is monitoring. I know you see a lot of folks on podcasts, they have those big headphones on. Me personally, I don't like them. I like these. And I'll talk a little bit about these here in a second. But you need to be able to hear what's working on your show. I've recorded a few podcasts when I first started where I couldn't hear a damn thing. And if I can't hear it, that means that wherever I'm recording and processing it, chances are that won't be able to pick it up either. And that is so embarrassing, reaching out to somebody and saying, hey, you know what? I did not capture the recording. Is it okay if we do it again? They're going to be like, hell no, amateur hour is over. So it's not going to work. Another thing that monitoring helps with the earphones, if you have somebody that you're interviewing, they're talking to you, maybe they don't have it, the sound will sometimes pick up what they're saying, and it'll be like double talked, or it'll pick up what you're saying. So, or the microphone will pick up what they're saying and what you're saying. So a good way so that don't happen is to have the monitors, right? And always, whatever you get, your equipment needs to match your medium. determination. Those two go hand in hand. And that's what I'm talking about when a lot of people want to buy this equipment. They typically buy the wrong equipment because they want to do something completely different. Maybe they bought some, I've had this before with clients where they know each other. They refer one another and they say, Tony told me to buy this. And then they end up having to hire me to help them. And I'm like, well, why did you buy that? Oh, son, this person told me to buy it. Well, that's because he had this setup and we had to get around this problem that he had. That's why he bought it. You didn't have to buy it. And you're like, oh man, right? So your equipment determines your medium. Your medium is determined by your structure. See how all this lines up? All this lines up. And the ultimate goal is to get to phase 4, to where you're growing and you're getting paid. But you can't do any of that stuff if you don't have everything else squared away, right? We're going to keep going. Again, put your questions in the chat and I will get to them. Okay, step 4, microphone matchup. So these are a couple different popular ones. There's a lot of folks, they have the Yeti. That's the one where it's in front of them. I've seen pink ones. I've seen purple ones. I've seen rhinestones one, bedazzled, they look really cool. One thing that I noticed is I always hear a lot of echo from the folks that just started, and it's a pain in the ass to get around when it comes to the Yetis. They're condenser microphones. I got some videos on my YouTube if you want to learn more about the anatomy of the different types of microphones as far as condenser and dynamic. It's just the placement of the infrastructure of the microphone itself and how sound bounces off of it. But go and check out my YouTube channel, Leaders Lead the podcast, and I actually break that down. But then you have the Samson Q2 mic. That's one of my favorites. It actually rejects background noise. I've had my Samson Q2O. I actually bought a kit. I can send you a link if you're interested. Just reach out and let me know. Let me know if you're interested in getting this microphone. I'll send you the link to it. But I've had that microphone for 7 freaking years before I switched over to this microphone that I'm using today. And this is the premium dynamic with voice isolating technology microphone. It's one of the best. And it looks cool. I'm not gonna lie. I remember there was a point in time I was like, man, I'm not a professional podcaster until I get one of those fancy mics with a boom. But it's not that big of a freaking deal. You can literally do all the things with your phone, or do all the things with any of the mics that I've mentioned before. But the two at the bottom are definitely my favorite. And that budget is anywhere from $50 for the Blue Yeti. And if you go all the way down to the Shure MV7, that's anywhere from like $249. Just keep in mind, just like how you might have heard me go, it picks up all of that stuff. And it's really good. My voice is really buttery sounding. Of course, I got some extra controls over here, but we won't get into that stuff. But this is what you're looking at when it comes to microphone. Those are the monitoring. This is a monitoring setup that I told you about. You can do wired or you could do Bluetooth. Somebody told me a very long time ago, if you're going to get monitors, do not get Bluetooth because interference are picked up a lot. You have to make sure that they're charged up. And there's just... It's hit or miss, right? The first ones, those are some cool ones. They're like around $43 or more. That's kind of the studio standard, closed back over ear. You're going to get zero bleed into the microphone, meaning like you could put your headphone, you could put it like to the microphone and you won't necessarily hear the screeching, which is good. That's happened to me before, where I had some other headphones and I kind of jumped scared because it went like in my ear. It's fucking horrible. So that'll help you stop with that. The next one, the video stealth option. I love these. These are the ones that I actually have, the Shure Ionic 215 headbuds. They're going to start at $99. I like them. It takes a while to get used to these. So they'll be really stiff around the ear. But if you look at these, they are super flexible. They go around the ear and you put them here. If you notice, a lot of performers, they have these. Not so much, they're not wired like this is, but a lot of performers, they'll have this so that they can hear themselves over the crowd and just hear themselves in general. Just like if somebody was to come downstairs here, I wouldn't necessarily hear them and be thrown off. I hear my voice, and if I'm talking to somebody on here, I can hear them. And I think it looks better. I think it looks better than those big bulky ass things. My head is already big. I don't need like the big headphones to put over my ears. I did start with that, but it just looked funny. It didn't look like me. So then if you go to the next one, these are the professional grades. Shure makes a really good pair. It has a collapsible design. It has the enhanced frequency response, and they're pretty good. A lot of studios they use those, and they're very durable. Put your questions down below. We're going to do a Q&A once I'm done with this. I'm almost to step 9, and again, thank you for the people that have stuck around for this conversation. And for you sticking around for this entire conversation, don't forget, I'm going to send you this video, and I'm also going to send you my notes, and I'll send you the rest of the videos that I did in this series for free too, because I want to help you build a podcast. I want to help you build your podcast, one-on-one. But if you want to do it yourself, and maybe you don't have the resources to hire somebody to do it, I want your voice to still be able to get out there. That is very important. Now, more than ever, in the times that we're living in, your voice needs to be heard. And the voices that are being amplified the loudest right now are the voices when it comes to the independent folks, independent media, independent journalists, people like me. When I get my news right now, I don't go to Fox. I don't go to CNN. I don't go to MSNBC. I go to podcasters, the folks that are just holding their phone and talking to you. Maybe the fancy stuff the only thing that's fancy on there is just the title, right? It's not even that fancy, just like a red block. Those are the people that I trust. And now more than ever, it's not just me because I'm stubborn, but that is where our society is going to, where it's the independent folks like me and you that are doing it. I'm seeing independent podcasters take over Fox, independent podcasters take over CNN when it comes to podcast downloads, when it comes to more viewed people on networks versus YouTube. YouTube is freaking killing these networks, right? So I want you to be able to make this content, right? And so it's very important because you have a voice. There's something that you have in your head, something that's been stuck in your heart that you need to get out. And it's very important. Let's listen to this really quick. I always play this when we have these. I think now is a good time. I want you to listen to this really quick. It's very inspirational, at least to me.
I was reading something by Howard Thurman that really grabbed me. He was an advisor to Mahatma Gandhi, to Martin Luther King Jr., and to Albert Schweitzer. And I was reading and I couldn't go to sleep this night. He said, the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, you for whatever reason. You never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large, angry eyes saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what leadership, what books, what gifts will die with you? Very good friend that I lost recently, Miles Monroe, said, the wealthiest place on the planet is not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said, the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. There you find potential never realized. There you find dreams never pursued. There you find people allow themselves to be imprisoned by fear and living a small life. Maybe that's why one woman asked in a moment of anguish, what if you live your whole life only to discover it was wrong? Maybe that's why Henry David Thoreau said, oh God, to reach the point of death, only to realize that you've never lived, only to realize that you've never scraped the surface of your potential. Let us say together, live full, die empty.
Ooh. Live full or die empty. And that's the point. That is the point. I'm not a spring chicken. And, you know, I noticed that a lot of people that listen to my podcast, a lot of people that follow my content, not spring chickens either. And there's a lot to be said for the people that are on the back nine of their life, giving that information to the people that are on the front nine of their life. They're just getting everything figured out, right? And man, those are the people I love to equip with podcasts. They've been through life. They got something to say, right? They're trying to support and teach other people. So yeah, I want to encourage you to live full so that you can die empty. So yeah, that was totally unplanned. But whenever I think about using a voice, I think about those words. I think about those words from Les Brown. I think about those words from Miles Monroe, as far as the graveyard being the richest place on earth, because those folks are the people that died. And a lot of them died with all of the potential inside of them because they were afraid of using their voice. So I don't want us to be one of them. I don't want to be one of them. So yeah, if you check out my YouTube, a lot of this content is definitely there. Click on a link in that I'll give you, and I'll send you all of the content that I have on this as well. I'm getting off track. Step 5, hosting. These are your distribution points. Now, as far as these will be the places that you could use to distribute the podcast, meaning after I record my podcast, I take it, I package it up, I edit it, I take the podcast itself, the audio file or video file, and then I upload it to one of these platforms that you see on the screen. And then what they do is they take that podcast episode and they shoot it to Apple. They shoot it to Spotify. They shoot it to Pandora. They shoot it to Sirius. They shoot it to Amazon. They're like Spider-Man. They shoot it all to all these different places for you so that you don't have to shoot it. They're the ones that's taking care of it for you, right? So you want to make sure that you use one that you're comfortable with and make the decision based off of what hosting you're going to use that's going to be able to support you. And I would tell you right now, the biggest mistake that podcasters make, and I made this mistake too. When I first started, I went to a podcast hosting platform that I had to pay for. And I wasn't making any money then in podcasting. I was making $0, but I was paying 20, was paying 30, was paying $40 so that people can shoot it out to you when I didn't need to do that. Right. So you don't need to do that right now. Red Circle, they're the OGs. They're a really good company. I remember like when it was around the time when they first started, good quality, right? You could reach out to the CEO of the company right now and he'll reach back out to you. I've seen it myself. Really, really, really good company. Podcast.co. I used them after I came from Red Circle. There's a payment that you have to make. It's every month. I think you could do better. Libsyn. Libsyn, they're cool. They've been around for a long time. A lot of the OGs in podcasting use those. Buzzsprout, that was one where I forgot. I think Buzzsprout might have turned into Spotify. But I think no, they didn't turn into Spotify. Buzzsprout, my problem with Buzzsprout is every time I see something, a person that has a podcast with Buzzsprout, I see all of these other freaking advertisements. And I feel like, you using your voice, you're creating your own platform and you're not getting paid based off of all of those freaking, deals. And I know that they do offer a monetization platform, but they're already, before you even start getting paid off of it, they're getting paid off of you. And even if you have the free version, me personally, I wouldn't rock with it. Transistor, I know a lot of people use that, but I want to highlight Spotify. Spotify, they're really good right now. At first it was just, you upload the podcast to Spotify and that's where it's at. But now they're doing the whole spider web thing where they're shooting it across and they're doing it for free. I personally think that they're trying to rival Apple Podcasts because, the way that audio podcast is conceptualized today, my very beginnings of podcasts, I go to Apple, right? I think of Apple, and I feel like Spotify is trying to change the game and they're trying to be known for podcasts. And so that's why they created this free platform. I don't know if it's going to be, how long it's going to be free, but for you, I would jump on that right now. I would use Spotify. My numbers, since I got on Spotify, my numbers almost doubled. I don't know how the hell that happened, but it happened. So use Spotify to do it. And, thinking about what you're going to use, think about the analytics, think about if it's customizable, think about you integrating into your website, think about, the distribution, think about ad revenue sharing. You don't want people just to be using your stuff, making money off of you. You need to be making money off of your podcast. Listener donations, do they give you that option? Which I don't think is that important. I don't get donations from the people that listen to the show. I think it's my service of love. I do profit pretty good off of the podcast, but that's from coaching and that's from different sponsorships and stuff like that, right? So think about all of this stuff when you're picking your podcast host and platform, right? So the other phase of this that we talked about and that structure that we build in is the podcast recording plan. This is you engineering a flawless session so that when you sit down to record your podcast, you sit down and you have a guest on the show, you don't look like a damn fool that don't know what you're doing. Or you sit down by yourself and you're scrambled all over the place. You don't feel like a damn fool when you're recording your podcast. If you have a plan, an actual recording plan, things will go really smooth for you. A lot of my clients, they use the same recording plan that I use, that I sent to them. And it's, A to Z, right? If you're going to have a guest, if it's going to be just you, what is going to help you figure out what your point is, what are you trying to go to with this podcast? What do you need to set up this podcast? And it should only take you about 5 minutes to fill out that plan. And for the folks that schedule the session to get one-on-one help with me to actually build your podcast business plan, if you hit that QR space up there, I will actually give you a recording plan. We will hook up for an hour and a half. Usually I'm like 2 hours. I go for however long it takes to give you that value that you've paid for, but I will walk you through those steps. And I'm getting ready to where this is actually going away. That service that I have, it is going away because I'm doing some other stuff, and I'm kind of refocusing my attention and not doing this. But so grab it while you can, and that's not fake scarcity. Once it's gone, is gone. I'm giving you the game right now, so please take advantage of it. Step 6, the recording plan. It's going to help you define your objectives, your desired tone, your atmosphere, specific outcomes, environment lockdown. It's going to help you be able to think about the things that you probably wouldn't think about. When I first started recording my podcast, I wouldn't tell nobody in the house that I'm recording. I would come in here, I'd hear record. Next thing you know, the door open. Hey, Dad, I need some. Where's the toilet tissue? Or, hey, Dad, what's for dinner? Or, hey, Dad. So now I have a checklist. For me right now, more is mental. It's a mental checklist where, hey, y'all, I'm getting ready to record. I'm going live. And then I actually have a placard that I did not use just now. Such a hypocrite. But I have a off-air placard that I'll put on the outside of the door, so you can so if they walk past, they'll see that I'm on air or off air, right? And it works really good. But for you, as a new podcaster, I don't want you not being able to have a successful show because you didn't do the simple things like have a good recording plan, right? Role clarity. It's going to, you're a moderator, operator assigned, communication guidelines, and, kind of like the way that things are going to work. You're going to have all that stuff down. Content prep is going to keep you on point. It's going to keep you outlined. You're going to have your different resources, everything that you need at arm's length. I don't want you going off the fly. Marketing plan. Let's look at this case study really quick. This is to kind of highlight a marketing plan for a podcast that I worked on, a really good podcast. I'm really proud of the owner of this podcast. We worked together, and I'm telling you, his numbers, just like that, met and exceeded every freaking goal. He's getting speaking engagements. He's doing so many different cool things with his podcast, right? But this is the way that we market the podcast. And if you follow these 4 things, exactly how I'm going to teach them to you right here, you will be able to hit your goal. For him, his target was 500 downloads in 3 months. I think he quadrupled that, right? You can go and check him out. Warrior Servant Leader Podcast. He quadrupled that. And that's because he initiated this marketing plan, right? So the first thing, core audio creation, right? Weekly episodes targeting his specific niche. For him, law enforcement. He's a leader in law enforcement. He has some amazing stories. He capitalized on those stories. And his age group was 21, anywhere from 20 to 65, right? And so he created that content. Boom. First thing, create the content. Core audio content or core video content, but we're using audio just for the sake of this. Second thing he did was he took that content and he either took the audio or he took the video and he made short form video clips, or he did blog recaps. And that's something that you could do, right? So you have that micro content, take it, do something with it, right? Viral clip, video clips. If you're on LinkedIn, and you got a pretty good follow on LinkedIn, use LinkedIn. If you're on Instagram, good follow on Instagram, use Instagram. Facebook, use whatever other platform that you're currently communicating with people. If you have a mailing list, use that mailing list, right? Send them that micro content, a bite size. It's just like when you go to Costco. Oh man, I love Costco. You go to Costco and they have the samples, and they're cooking, maybe it's like some rice, some jasmine rice. Last time I went, the dude was cooking up some jasmine rice, and he had this orange sauce, and then he had some vegetables, and he's like mixing it together. And he had this cup, and he's like, "Hey, you want some rice? Here you go. Come and taste it." I go and I taste it. I'm like, "Oh man, fireworks just float in my mouth," and I just freaking hear the angels from heaven. Whew, it just tasted so good. And so I go, all right, cool. And so I saw it. And then, I just kept going, because I get it and go. I don't want nobody to see me in the line. Get it and go. But it was so good. And I talked to my wife, man, that food was amazing. So you know what I did? I saw him again when I hit the other owl, when I hit the owl where the salmon was at. I saw somebody else enjoying it. And I go back up. Instead of I watched him do the presentation again, but then I just grabbed the stuff that he was selling and put it in a cart. It's the same thing with your content, with micro content. You're giving them short bites, right? And that's how you get them hooked in. Okay. So that is the micro content. 3, targeted distribution. You're pushing the content to primary channels. That's LinkedIn, so that you can get high professional engagement. And that's newsletters. That's what he did, the LinkedIn newsletters. And man, it blew up. And that's the same thing that I did with my podcast, is the LinkedIn newsletters. I have 23,000 people on my LinkedIn newsletter, and LinkedIn, it will pump and mail the people that are in your network. It typically, I'll get something back where it says it sent 14,000 emails. That's LinkedIn sending 14,000 people an email, letting them know that I have a new newsletter. And inside that newsletter, I'm breaking down, and what our case study did, he's breaking down exactly, the major points of the podcast. And then he's enticing them, same thing like we did with the micro content. He's enticing them to actually listen to the full episode. And they go to your website, they download the full episode. Hopefully you're getting an email from them, right? Podcasters, do not send people straight to Spotify. Do not send people straight to Deezer. Do not send people straight to Audible or wherever your podcast is at. You need to have a website, right? If you need an example of the way that this goes, go to Leaders Lead the Podcast. Don't go right now, but if you go to my podcast, you're in there for 3 seconds. Boom, something's going to come up and it's going to ask you for your contact information, right? And you got to have something enticing. Like me, you go to my podcast, it's me telling you that you don't have to wait to go to Spotify to get them. I'm going to send you these podcast episodes before they even come out. Not only that, I'm going to send you a breakdown episode, a breakdown of the episode so that you can immediately apply it to your life. Wow. You got a gardening podcast. Shit. It's time to start gardening. Garden prep. Oh my God. Oh, how did they know I needed this? What to do with you know what I'm saying? Like, so you basically can be in charge of this process and not be a slave to the algorithm. So don't forget that, right? So that's the third thing when it comes to targeting it. Remember to get a website too, so that you can control that traffic. Go to leadersleadthepodcast.com, sign up for that newsletter, and it'll give you kind of the way that I do things. And that's what any of my content, if you go to my website, I'll have like a media kit. I'll have a whole bunch of stuff, and you have my permission right now. Like, copy that stuff. Do it the way that I'm doing. It's a blueprint for a reason, right? There's no need for you to have to try to reinvent the wheel. Just reach out to me and ask me for specific case uses when it comes to whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So far we did the audio creation. So far, repurpose micro content. It could either be audio or it could be video. Targeted distribution, we talked about that. And then the fourth thing is SEO and community engagement. That is your keyword optimization. For him, maybe some leadership, maybe tactical storytelling, right? We're adding those words inside of the description of the episodes. We're making our post be about the things that we're talking about on our podcast. Do not Do not be one of those people that have a leadership podcast and you're talking about cats and you're talking about cats on your LinkedIn, or your podcast isn't a political podcast, but all your posts are political. Don't be that person, because like you have divided interest. I'm asking you to double down on the targeted distribution that's going to give you the most value. And when you do that, you double down on that targeted distribution that's going to give you the most value. You have to give it the most input. You have to give it the most input. So no cat post, no weird post that's outside of that lane that you want people to go and, download the podcast for. Yeah, you can talk about other stuff on your podcast, but I'm specifically talking about your marketing plan, right? Okay. Some of the things that we do, organic discovery, right? That means it just kind of comes up. And that's by way of the Q&A polls that we talked about. That's some of the posts. A lot of times, I got an episode coming up on somebody that coaches folks through narcissist abuse. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in that episode, in that post, hey, have your life ever been affected by this? How did this make you feel? So what I'm doing with that is I'm actually, going back to that Ikigai thing, something that people actually want in the community, and they're telling me what they want me to talk about, right? And I'm getting engagement. My SEO on my website is pointed to that stuff. Everything is pointed to that stuff. That's the marketing plan. You don't need to make it no harder than this. If you follow this blueprint, you will hit your goal. You will hit your target. We don't need to make it, okay, my target is 1 million downloads. We don't need to do that. Start off with 500 downloads in 3 months. Let that be the goal. But I guarantee you, if you do exactly what I'm telling you, these 4 steps, you're going to triple that. All right. Recording trials. This is step 8. Step 8. This is where you're, like we talked about before, you're setting up all of your equipment. You're running through the worksheets that I gave you as far as the show notes, and you're getting familiar with the equipment, right? And again, I even just saying this, I feel a little bit hypocritical. I'm looking at a camera over there that I've had for a couple of years. We paid a couple $1,000s for it. I've never taken the time to use it. I should have used that thing when it came out of the box. I want you to do the opposite. I want you, if you get a microphone, go and get it, go and play with it, set up all the things, the camera, you do dry runs, do a dress rehearsal the first time, so that you are ready. You never let episode 1 be the first time you turn on your microphone, be the first time that you hit the live button. You never do that, right? You could do diagnostic dry runs. I have just gone live on LinkedIn while I'm hooking up the microphone. That's a good opportunity to do that. And I put it over the screen. I'm practicing. Bear with me. I am setting up for a podcast, and I'm setting the equipment that can only be used when I'm live. And you'll be surprised the questions that people will have for you while you're working, and it actually turns into a really cool event. So yeah, recording trials, that's very important. Step 9. This is the last step. And again, this is not linear. It's not one of those things where you're going to go from A to Z and then you're done, or go from A to Z and you just worry about Z. You're going to be tweaking the stuff as you go, as you grow as a podcaster. But some stuff to look at, right? When you're in the monitor, measuring, and adjusting phase, right? You're looking at your metrics of impact. Whatever goal you set, you're looking at that stuff through Apple. You're looking at that stuff through Spotify. You're making sure that you're actually growing, and you're making sure that you're actually not stagnant. And if you are stagnant, why are you stagnant? You're asking people questions. You shouldn't be over year one with only 1,000 downloads an episode. You should be way above and beyond that, right? So you're actually adjusting. You're not staying the same. You're growing, and you're looking at listener retention. Are they staying for the intro? Are they leaving the intro because it was too long? Where are they dropping off? When you start asking questions, do they start leaving? Maybe you're asking the wrong questions, right? These are the things that you're looking at. You're looking at engagement rate. Yeah. Where are you getting the most engagement? If you're doing a lot of posting on LinkedIn, but maybe Facebook, they're engaging with it more. Maybe the plan that you have is more targeted towards Facebook, and maybe you can cut off doing the marketing for LinkedIn. Maybe the emails are working better. What is your community telling you? And they'll tell you exactly what's wrong or exactly what's right with your podcast without you asking them. But you are going to ask them. That's part of this. But the way that you find out without having to ask them is by looking at this information, looking at your downloads, listening to your listener retention. Where are they dropping off at? What platforms are they engaged the most? And one thing that I don't want you to do is become a slave to the downloads. That remember, these metrics, they're only there for you to track and for you to adjust. They are not the sum to everything. Because if I'm saying this, because if you are one of those content creators and you're pouring your freaking heart out and you're measuring your success by the downloads, and you go and you see only one freaking person, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're going to be disappointed for a very long time. And I'll tell you, like right now, even doing this live, I have no idea how many people are watching. I do know, I do know that I see several people have popped in and popped out, but I don't have the exact number. It does not matter, because no matter what, I'm going to give the same value, right? And no matter what, this is not only going to live here, it's going to live and breathe someplace else. So don't run your show based off of solely the downloads, because if that's what matters and you go and you're at week 3 and you're living and dying by the downloads, you're going to start doing dangerous things. And I'll tell you, one of the most dangerous things that you could do to your podcast that'll completely derail it is if you buy listeners and you buy downloads. If you have the word podcast and anywhere in your bio on LinkedIn or YouTube, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are literally thousands of people that are reaching out to you, I'm sure probably on a monthly basis, asking you if they can help you with organic reach for your podcast. That is not organic. They're sitting up someplace with maybe 1 or maybe 1,000 phones or 1,000 phone banks downloading that stuff, and it's surging. It's going to look good. You're going to feel good. You're going to get that dopamine, and it's just kind of like an energy drink, right? You drink that energy drink, it makes you feel good. You start getting a headache. The numbers start going away. And then what happens? You need some more of that energy drink. You need some more of that dopamine. You're going to go buy yourself. It's not sustainable. It will tank your podcast. So don't do it. I actually have a really good friend that did this, and I don't know if it correlates or not, but I would say within 30 days after buying bots for his podcast, the fucking podcast was obliterated. It was done. It was done because you can't keep up with that. Once you got so high, you bought those damn downloads. Sometimes there ain't no coming back, and it's not a shortcut. I promise it's not a shortcut. It actually hurts you more than it'll help you. So, but yeah, monitor, measure, adjust. And then step 9, this is when this is your business engine pretty much, right? You did all the things at the bottom. Now we're at the top. We got this podcast is built. The podcast is built on credibility. You got credibility, you got some authority, you got an audience. You're doing things right. When it comes to administration, you got a CRM. customer relations management system. You got to have one of those. You have a Calendly. You're using that Calendly for booking for your guests. You got your business license. If you got a podcast, you got to have a business license. Now you have to. You don't have to have it legally, but I think it's a smart thing. You look at this podcast like a business, right? Then you're looking at the monetization. Well, yeah, if you collected money, it's a business, right? But direct monetization, the way that works for podcasts, you have sponsorships. A lot of people, they have a goal of 3. I think that's reasonable sponsors by year 2. But you're not starting this podcast thinking about sponsors. You're starting this podcast thinking about value. Affiliate marketing, that's some stuff that you could use. And then, and what that looks like is, if I say, let me think, a good example, right? If I say, hey, oh yeah, I'll send you all of the equipment, and I'll tell you this up front. I'll send you all of the equipment that you need. Let me know in the comment section if you need the equipment list, and I'll send it to you. Okay. Full disclosure. When I send you that equipment list, you're going to click it, you're going to buy it, and it's not going to cost you more. But Amazon, since I'm a partner of Amazon, I'm on their influencer program, Amazon's going to send me some money. Right. And so that's the affiliate marketing process, right? Or an example of affiliate marketing. You can also do premium subscriptions. I'm seeing this happen a lot more, especially when it comes to content on how to teach people how to do stuff. You could offer worksheets. You can offer workshops, teach people what you know how to do, or a subsection of the content that you're making. So that's there. Indirect monetization, that's securing speaking gigs. I brought up the example of one of my students from before. He's getting speaking gigs. His goal is to use the podcast. I think that this has happened by now, but to use the podcast so that they can be considered the subject matter expert in what it is that they're doing. And then going along that, being called in to be the subject matter expert in court cases, right? It goes, I mean, this podcasting is not just getting sponsors. It's so much bigger than sponsorship. And that's actually what I've spent the past year and a half teaching people is don't live or die by the downloads. Don't live or die by sponsorships, right? These indirect things that I'm teaching you about right here, right now, you don't need to have a whole bunch of downloads. You don't need to have a sponsorship to get this and to secure this, right? The indirect monetization is literally what helped me not to have to go back to work during COVID, right? Getting speaking opportunities based off of the podcast. Literally me not going to a podcast, but me doing exactly what I'm doing, talking to you right here is how I was able to sustain the same quality of life that I had before I started my own business to now up to this point and even better, right? So the list goes on and on. Authority building. This is considered monetizing it, right? Monetizing it isn't just capital, but pursuing niche awards, right? There's awards. I know there's this episode on the podcast where we talked to Enrique Gonzalez. He's here on LinkedIn. I don't know. I don't personally know nobody that's gotten more podcast awards than when it comes to him. He actually taught me how to get podcast and awards and how significant that was. For me, I'm just like, oh shucks, I'm just here, I'm just here doing my podcast and this is my labor of love to the people. And he's like, no, man, you got a good show. You need to freaking get recognized and you need to get that. And it's because of him that I won Media Professional of the Year in 2023. Right. And that gives him weight, right? If you're hiring me as your coach And I tell you that I'm the media professional of the year for an organization that does some good, right? But it's not just the thing though, because I don't want you to go out and start paying for awards. I think that's weird. There's a lot of organizations that make you pay. I think even the Webbies make you pay for the award. Don't go paying for freaking awards. It's weird. That's all I would say about that. It's just weird. So yeah, the biggest thing that I want you to get from this is to stop second guessing and start using your voice. You already have what most people are missing. That's the story. You got a story. Everybody has a story. You got a message. Everybody has a message, and you got a reason to speak up. There's so many content creators being created right now at this point where we are, political climate, where we are in the world when it comes to morals and comes to togetherness, our planet, all of these different things, man. There's something to be said. And I know that you're probably the person to say it. So that's the blueprint. That is what I've used to get to this point where I'm at right now. All right. That's me using my voice. Podcast is heard in over, I think 93 different countries, 21 different, 21 different. I just feel weird saying this stuff, but because I'm not bragging or I don't know. I want to inspire you to use your voice. I had a fear of public speaking my whole life, all the way up until probably about 7 years ago when I started my podcast. And man, let me tell you, I'm so glad that I did it. I am so glad that I did it. I mean, even if you're watching this and you're like, hey, I don't care about starting a business. That's not where I'm at. I just want to just make good money doing what I'm doing and still working for somebody else. That works too. When I was doing my podcast, still working, man, there was 2 big jobs that I had. I made the most money I've ever made in my life. And I thought it was the weirdest thing. They did not interview me. They didn't interview me at all. The last person said, I feel like I already know you. I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean by that? Oh man, I listened to your podcast. I've seen some of your videos. Such and such Larry, he's been subscribed to your newsletter on LinkedIn for the past 5 years. So you're good. When can you start? That literally happened. Right. And it's not because I'm just this amazing person or whatever. It's because I fit in certain places. You fit in certain places. Use your your voice, your unique voice to get into the places where you fit. And a podcast is a way to do it. YouTube channel is a way to do it. Making content on LinkedIn is a way to do it. Right? No more is content being monopolized or should be monopolized by the big freaking professional media companies. We have taken over. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but independent media has taken over, and you could be a part of that. So anybody got any questions for me before I show you some stuff? I'm going to show you the way that you can get on my calendar, the way that it works. Let's see. Let's take some questions. I see great success coming your way. Savor the flavor. Awesome as that. I love that. Alila, congrats on your award. Thank you. That's amazing. I appreciate that. It's actually cool. It makes me smile every time I come in and I see it. It's like, oh, cool. Everybody wants to be recognized, right? Everybody wants to be recognized. Good question. How do you obtain sponsorship? This is good. Let me go full screen here. I'm scared that I'm going to knock everybody out if I do. Okay. So how do you get sponsorship is I would start with thinking if you have a podcast already and you could reach out to me and we could work on this together. But I would think about the structure, the thing that we talked about before, let's go back. I want to show you how this goes into place. And the gift that everybody's going to get for being here today, let me know in the comments, type gift, if you want the gift. I'm going to send you this presentation. I'm going to send you my notes, and I'm going to send you all the references that I used for it. That's like in the case study and stuff like that too. But let me turn off that. Okay. So if you look at, I don't got my glasses on. If I don't have my glasses on, so I got to look up a little bit close. And y'all don't want to see my glasses. I got tape on them. I got to go to the VA and get another pair. So these are the weird glasses that I'm rocking. I won't dare wear them on camera. I'm not that brave. So your purpose alignment, you have that. If you have the structure built, you've gone through the phase of equipment selection, podcast hosting, you know all of that. Freaking, you're squared away with your recording plan. You squared away with that. Recording trials. You have a good marketing plan, right? You go here and you add that to the marketing plan. Not only do you market to the people that you're listening to, but you spend a great deal of effort in marketing to the people that you want to get sponsors from, right? And so what I do is I go on LinkedIn and I say, I want a sponsorship for, I don't want to use Gatorade. I keep using Gatorade because it's here. Let's say I take my hat, right? Take my company hat. Ooh, Adidas logo. Okay, let me go onto LinkedIn. I'll go onto LinkedIn and I'll find people in marketing this with LinkedIn, maybe the chief marketing officer. Ooh, that would be really cool. Sometimes I forget to even follow up with these people, but I put them on my radar. I get on their radar and I'll start sending them messages, or they'll start sending me messages. We connect, and they know the game just like I know it. If they're not asking, I'm asking. What is it? What does a partnership look like? And I say, oh, you know what? I don't do that, but I'll let you connect with Sally. She actually does that. I'll put in a good word for you. I've been following your stuff for a very long time. A lot of my sponsors, that's exactly how they came about, was that very same process. And let me tell you, LinkedIn, I've noticed, is the best place to connect with folks. Instagram, there's thousands of people connecting to the folks that you would want to connect with for sponsors or even people just to come on your podcast. They're sending DMs like crazy on there. But LinkedIn, I've noticed, oh my God, some of the people that have told me yes on DMs in LinkedIn blows my mind. Just like some of the people that told me no. I get told no quite a bit, but at least I get a shot. And I think with LinkedIn, you will get a legitimate shot. So that's how I do it on that level. But if you got all of this stuff intact as far as the architecture of your show, it should be a no-brainer, right? If it's Gatorade, I'm thinking sport performance. I'm some sort of athlete or some sort of coach someplace or something along the lines of that. If I am a content creator, it's a camera, it's a microphone. It should make sense. So start doing a tally of all the things that just makes plain old sense to you. For me, StreamYard, right? They charge to use their program. What can I do to get this for free? Right? That's what you sponsor. That's what you, as a new content creator, a new podcast, you should not be coming out of more money than is coming in. And if that's your situation, you need to do an audit and figure out how can you get that stuff paid for. So get your mic. You can get your microphone paid for. You can get your Rodecaster, your soundboards paid for. You can get people to send you lights. You can get people to send you plants. You can get Calendly to support you. You can get LinkedIn to sponsor you, right? So that's how you do it. And if you're sitting around and, you already did that, right? Everything's all supported. You're just like, damn, who else can I get to sponsor this? listen to podcasts. Listen to the podcast. Listen to, there's a good video on my YouTube where I actually break this down on how to steal podcast sponsors. Just look at who else is being sponsored and write them down. I actually got a list. I got probably about, hit me up. I probably got about 1,000 different sponsors in my phone right now that I could just reach out to from my notes that I've just wrote down just from hearing other podcasts be sponsored by them. So steal them, take them. Chances are, if they're on their podcast, they are willing to go on your podcast. That's how that happens. I promise. Very inspirational. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, I hope that if you got some questions or need any help with any of this information, I hope that you've scheduled a call with me. That would be pretty dope. Please drop your podcast link. You can go to, let me see. All right, it should be in the comment already. So you can go there to check out the podcast. Let's see, do we have some questions? So great. I'll have to watch the replay and take notes. Kenneth Dunn sent me. Oh, Kenneth is a man. Got that. Let's see. Coach Kerry Willis, we're so aligned. Besties. Beyond borders. That's cute. Gift? All right, cool. I'll send you the gift. I'll put that in the comments as soon as I get out of here. I promise. I'll make sure I send that in the comments. Any other questions we got off of any other content we covered? Like I said, I'm not going to be doing this content anymore. I feel like I've ran kind of out of things to say. Like, there's a whole library on this stuff, and I have a coaching program and also a course that can show you, that can like literally walk you through all of this stuff. I've been giving it away on YouTube, so you can check out that. You just go type in Leaders Lead the podcast on YouTube. I'm silently giving away freaking everything, all the content that I got, and giving it away. Some of the coaching is some pretty reasonable prices as well. Like I said, I want to help as many people one-on-one or virtually as much as I possibly can. So if you click this link, I'm going to bring this up really quick, add this to the stage. Let's remove the slide. So if you click this link at the very top, and the link is also in the comment section, how do I go there? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm sharing. So you'll see, this will be the page that you'll go to, and pretty much any red button on this page will take you to where you can book an actual session with me so that we can work together. There's some folks that will take my 12-week 101 course. Well, we'll work together for 12 weeks and I'll build it. I'll build that podcast with you. I actually put folks like this, like you're literally in my phone. If you look at my phone, damn, can y'all still see me? Let's see. Let me know if y'all can see me in the chat. Damn, every time I do this or do anything with a phone or something like that, it doesn't work the way that I think it's going to work. But go to my phone. Okay. Anyway, that's not working. So, I can pin people in my phone, like my wife, my daughter, my mom, my sister, but then I have my clients in there. Right. So it's a program to where we're in lock and step and we're working together. But then we have, and that's this first person video that's here on this page. But then we have people like my friend Jimmy. Like, we spent time together, and we kind of walked him through what it would look like for him to start his podcast. What is he looking at, kind of thing. And then we got my friend here, where with his podcast, he had that stuff on his hard drives for like years and years and years. And, I'll let you hear from him. Let's see if it'll play. Did I do it again? Hold up.
Express my.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I'll go ahead and play it.
Hey there, I just wanted to give a shout out to the one and only Tony Taylor and express my extreme gratitude for the help he's given me over the past several months. Meeting Tony's been like a gift to me because last month I finally released my podcast and I'm excited. I have 10 episodes out, almost 150 downloads, so it's getting there. And I would not have done this if it hadn't been for Tony. The truth is, I've kind of been a recovering people pleaser and perfectionist most of my life, all my life actually. And I had recorded podcast episodes 5 years ago and they were stuck on my hard drive. And it wasn't until Tony said, man, get those out. They got to be heard. And he listened to them and he believed in me. And that is what caused me to move forward. So I have no doubt the only reason it's up and running is because of him. So if you're stuck, if you have a podcast that you're working on, he knows all the little tips, tricks, and secrets to get it launched and how to promote it. And that is cool. So Tony, you're the man. Thank you so much. I am extremely grateful.
Hold up. Who else do we got here? Let's see. We'll do one more.
Hi, I'm Bill Knapp. I would like to talk to you just a few minutes here about somebody who's become a good friend of mine, Tony Taylor. I tell you what, if you have any interest in podcasting or in speaking, this is the man that you want to talk to. He is gregarious. He listens. He cares about the people that he works with, wants to make sure that they succeed. All too often you sign up for programs and people just hand you something and drop you. Not the way here. The way Tony operates is he works with you. He will take the time. You got a question, he'll answer it. And because of his exuberance, because of his energy, you just get sucked into this and you become part of it. And I feel that you will have a much, much greater chance of success if you work with Tony, because I just wish that I had learned about Tony earlier rather than later. So please consider talking to Tony. And I don't think that you will ever be sad that you did that.
All right. Now that we're done feeding my ego. Okay. Let's see. So this is where you would go. So to book a session with me, this is pretty much what you're going to get when you book this session with me. And this isn't like working with me for the 12 weeks. Like I said, I'm halting that a little bit right now. And I'm doing these sessions where they're $225. And we actually 2 hours, usually I say an hour and a half, but it's like 2 hours where we're working and we're actually building. Once we're done, you have all of those different phases that we talked about earlier. You have that in an actual business plan, a blueprint that you can follow. And usually a lot of my clients, they use that and it works. They don't need to hire me for the 12 weeks. They have the steps, they have the plan, and it'll help like really get you on your way. Like really, if you got a podcast right now, if you don't have a business plan for your podcast, I want to encourage you to create the business plan for your podcast. Otherwise, what the hell are you doing if you don't have it? And you don't even have to do it with me. I'm encouraging you to sit down and just do it. You can do it with ChatGPT, but if you want to do it with me, well, we take your situation and make it come to life. Just go ahead. Here's a calendar. I think I got that thing open until April, looks like May. So you could book all the way out until April and May to get on the calendar for that. Again, that's no pressure. Yeah, that's some great testimonials. Yeah, I paid them to do that. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's how you sign up to do a call with me. I appreciate everybody that's been listening. I appreciate my good friend Kenneth Dunner for sending this to everybody. Man, I love what you do. We should partner up together. I think what you do is really cool. Man, any other questions? I'm gonna turn on the comments before I get out of here. Let's put the comments here. Let's see, what can I... There's some other content that I can go over. I'm one of those people, once I get started, I don't want to stop. All right. All right. So it looks like I don't have any questions. I've been going for almost 2 hours, so that's good. I am really, really grateful again to all of y'all that showed up. It means a lot. It definitely means a lot because, man, I remember when I first started doing these, nobody would come. I would just kind of be like sad, be talking to my wife. Nobody showed up. It sucks. It sucks. But if I didn't learn anything else, if you very consistent and you keep showing up despite the hate that you get, even despite the love that you get, if you keep showing up, you keep doing the work, something is bound to happen. You keep getting rejected, something is bound to happen. If you already have a podcast and you're going after top guests and you want them to come on your show, do it. Don't wait until you feel like you're great, because even once you get great, you're still not going to believe it, right? So believe it now. Start acting as if you are great today, because you are. And there can only be one person that could be as great as you, and that's you. There's only one person. It's like there's only one person that could be as great as me at me being me, and that's me. So I don't polish myself up. I don't do like things so that I can look cool or I can look whatever. I just be me, and it works and it helps, especially when you're making content and you're putting yourself out there. So with that being said, oh yeah, it's right there. Go ahead and click that. If you want to book a call with me, there's a link to book a call with me for that session. It's like 30 pages. It is your business blueprint in podcasting. It's probably one of the best things that I ever created since I've been coaching organizations with building podcasts. I mean, it's phenomenal. I get yelled at a lot because I don't charge enough for it, but I want to make things affordable so that people could be able to use their voice to void out the bad voices in this world. There's a lot of that. And I want to be a proponent to the people that actually add good value to good people, right? And a voice for the people that maybe they're not so good people, but maybe your voice can help them change. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Let's see. We got any more people in the chat before I go? All right. And as soon as I get out of here or get off of here, I'll make sure that I drop that in the comment so that you can get this replay and the rest of the series that I got to. I'll make sure that I send you all of that stuff too. So yeah, let me get off of here. All right. I'll see y'all later. And if this has bought you any value, do me a big favor and share it. That would be really cool. I would really appreciate that. I'll see y'all later.